Welcome to Fuck Your Feelings, the greatest podcast to ever exist. Okay? Hey, exist, big cap. Oh, no, it's good. It's a good podcast. Man, this is the first time we've had 4 people because Reggie told me he had a dentist appointment, so I assumed that was his priority.
Well,
and then he hit me up and was like, "I changed the dentist."
I canceled it. Rescheduled it. I got good insurance. I can reschedule. Man.
I don't need that molar.
It ain't the good insurance. Do you got good teeth?
Yeah.
For you to reschedule. I mean, I guess.
Oh
you do.
yeah, then yeah. Well, they're gonna work on them.
Now, why do you have your blue blockers on?
Because I just left the gym.
Okay.
So, and I don't like looking grown men in the eye when I'm straining. So I always wear my shades, and then when I go to the shower, I wear my shades. I don't want to see grown men showering, and I pretty much wear shades all day. That's almost like my prescription.
Okay, so we got Reggie Jr. I've had enough of that.
That's brilliant. I should do that.
Yeah, it's just awkward when you look at people in the face in the gym.
Put your mic a little closer, Alexis.
Okay.
There you go. We got Reggie Jr. We got Alexis Miranda.
Yeah.
We got Kente Scott.
What it do, y'all?
And we got Royale Watkins.
Yeah.
The seasoned. I like the beard, bro.
I mean, listen, it's going to grow in, and there's nothing I can do about it. So here it is.
I like it. It's a good look. It's a good look for you.
I hate it because it connects. Mine don't
Yeah,
connect.
don't worry.
Patchy with mine.
Just pray on it.
I look like the old homeless man with mine.
Pray on it.
Yeah, pray on it.
Pray on it.
Lord, just give me a connected beard if you could.
I just got full during COVID.
So.
You know what I'm saying? Grown man face. You know what I'm saying? It's so funny. Reggie didn't have a beard, got no pussy. Soon as he grew his beard out,
everybody throwing it at him.
They started throwing a pussy, bro.
This is true. This is very true.
It's true? Okay.
It's very true.
He like all these years he was in a drought, and who knew all he had to do was
facial hair. It works.
Made a difference, man. Just that 2% more, you know.
I literally seen chicks go from not liking him to be like, your friend Reggie kind of fine.
You know the one with the shades in the gym?
Yep.
Yeah. And in the shower.
Exactly. I'm trying to holler at him.
Hey man, Royale, man, let me ask you a question, brother. You doing the show with Earthquake that you're producing at the Chateau?
Earthquake and Friends every third Tuesday at the Comedy Chateau. We'll see how long we're there, but.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because I've heard. Now I perform at the Chateau a lot.
Yeah.
But I heard doing business there.
It's a little
could be complicated.
Could be a little tricky.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. I've been doing stand-up a while, and I think I produce a show and host a show. I say produce, but host a show in New York, the Mixtape Comedy Show.
Yeah.
I've been doing that show for 14 years. And because that show is such a fine-tuned operation, it's the point of comparison for me when I go to expand and do another show. And it may not be completely fair to the Comedy Chateau because it's a newer club, but I do have an expectation that things will run seamlessly. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to put up a show. It's very simple. It's like, here's the show, we advertise it, people show up, pay, they sit in the seats in. But I think the challenge is the way that the room is structured. Okay. In addition to that, I think that the club owner is having a challenge with some growth areas that he could use some help with.
Like starting on time?
Well, I don't have a problem starting on time because, again, I operate as an independent producer in the room. So the show itself is my responsibility. And I have a huge thing with making sure that shows start on time because psychologically, if people come in a room and the show isn't going based on the start time, then psychologically they tell themselves they can show up late and it'll be fine. And so I have a thing with, if it says 8:30, don't start any later than 8:35 because when people come in the room and the show's already going, then they tell themselves, oh, I need to get here on time myself.
How y'all keep getting Stevie Wonder to show up? I keep seeing the pictures. Stevie Wonder there.
It's kind of funny. Stevie's a friend, so it's
yo Chris Spencer shit.
It's really interesting that the universe sometimes will put people in your life that you just, my wife April and I the first date I took her on was to go see Stevie Wonder in New York at Radio City. And she didn't want to go. She was like, Stevie Wonder. She was like, and then we went, and it's like, if you see nobody else in your life live, go see Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
I mean, even that he just had a birthday, he's 73 now. And I saw clips of him performing on Tom Joyner's Fantastic Voyage cruise stop or whatever. And he still is just as magical and, and his library is insane. But just so happened that, again, the universe is like, hey, I'm going to make Stevie Wonder your friend. And
That's wild. Y'all got any famous friends?
Not like that.
Fucking squares? With your Facebook friends from high school, huh? Do you got Stevie Wonder level friends?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we all have friends. You just don't know, just.
I mean, Stevie Wonder's friends is another level. That's like,
Right.
that's like the big joke. I hung out at Obama house.
Did you?
I mean, when he was in the White House, yeah. I mean, we gonna stunt like that. Yeah, I was up in there.
It was Obama's house
It
at
was
the
his
time.
house, yeah.
How you got that invite? What was going on?
My sister, his family. She was like, you my plus one. I was like, cool.
Nice.
I will be there.
What she do?
Everything. She got her own business. But she was up in Oakland. She was the head of his finance committee for Northern California during his his only two campaigns.
Damn.
So she plugged.
Damn.
So yeah, as long as I don't get no felonies, I can hang.
I was at Judge Joe Mathis' house. Do that count? He had a birthday party or some shit.
Judge Mathis parties used to go.
Yeah, they used to go. Brandon T. Jackson took me a long time ago.
It's a Detroit thing.
Yeah.
That's a Detroit thing. And I didn't have no clothes. I remember I still had one of his old wife beaters for years. But I didn't have a wife beater or something. He gave me he gave me the worst wife beater. He was like,
Who, Brandon did?
yeah, I'm like, you don't got no clean. Had stains and shit.
Damn.
Yogurt
He was
stains.
drawing the car with it.
Yeah, the wife beater that he beat his wife with.
Wow.
Take this one. This one's evidence.
Yeah. I think that's what he did. Had blood stains on it. And a string of hair. It makes sense.
Exactly.
So yeah, man. So yeah, I went around
Horrible.
Judge Joe Mathis' house, and then because Eddie Murphy be having them parties, but I ain't never. He had them boxing parties, but I ain't never been invited. You
I
get
was
invited
gonna
to shit, don't you?
I do.
I'm about to say, you're a woman.
I just was being modest. I didn't want to.
Exactly.
Go ahead and stunt on us.
Yeah.
I actually got mentored by Eddie at his house one time.
Wow.
Changed my life.
How did that end?
You said, how did it
Hey,
end?
how did it end?
What do you mean?
Get
How
did it
did that end?
You ain't gonna do nothing. Get out of here.
You know what?
It's gonna fuck your feelings. No, go.
What you mean, how did that end?
I'm joking. Go.
No,
What
it really
happened?
changed my life, and he wasn't a creep. I've experienced a lot of creeps in this town. He wasn't a creep at all. He was on some like, little sis, I see you type shit. It was really dope. It was really dope. But you were talking about the universe. He was the person that really told me about the universe and energy. Because I grew up as a black woman in the South in a black church. Ain't nobody told me about the universe
Right.
and frequency and energy. And Eddie Murphy was the person that introduced that to me on some real shit.
Now
Yeah.
that's surprising because you seem like naturally you're somebody that's already like in tune with the universe and like zodiac signs and stuff like that.
I got all
Drinking
these-
green juice.
What's your sign? Is it Aries?
No, guess.
I did.
That was my one shot. That's all I got.
I definitely said Aries.
Okay. You know I could switch it up real quick.
Gemini.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just had a birthday.
okay.
Yeah, a couple days
Happy
ago.
belated.
Birthday.
Thank you.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Eddie Murphy, man. I ain't never get that invite. But how did you get the invite? How did he see you perform somewhere?
So I wasn't doing stand up at the time. I was studying theater at LMU,
Okay.
and I don't know. A lot of people just kind of. I was in like a singing group before I moved here, and like people just knew of me at the time, and I was like 19. And one of his friends hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, Eddie wants you to come to his house." I was like, "Eddie who?" He was like, "Eddie Murphy." I was like, "Me?" Like, I didn't know why. I was like, he said, "Yeah." He was like, I was like, "What are we gonna do?" He's like, he wants you to come over. He's having people over. We're going to have dinner. And I was like, can I bring people?
You're hilarious.
I was very cautious, like, because I kind of grew up around the industry, too. Like, my mom was in the industry. My mom was very much so just, like, a very protective momager. Like, my mama done cussed some of everybody out, right? So she just kind of prepared me. Don't go to nobody's house by yourself. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. They creeps out there. So...
Being a good mother.
Yeah, she didn't sell me to R. Kelly, but and then cry about
Well,
it.
let's talk about the financial benefits.
No,
Potential jail time.
right? Okay, yeah. So I was like, "Can I bring people?" Yeah, greenlit. So that was like, okay, they let me bring people. So I brought two of my friends, And
Oh, you got greedy with it.
yeah, I didn't bring
Plus
two
two
of
to
my
me.
Fuck a plus one.
Yeah, I brought two of my homegirls and we went and it was so random. It was like 8 people there and somebody he was dating at the time, and I can't name no names, but you know,
Tell
it
us
wasn't when
after.
I got there, I'm like, okay, he ain't trying to fuck with me like that. Like he got a girl here, and we sat at his table and ate dinner, like 8 of us.
Let me just wait if I can
What?
interject. Having a girl there is not.
Well,
like-
for me at the time,
okay.
at you know,
Motherfucker will
19.
fuck you with their girl.
No, but you know, at 19 years old, to me, I was like, oh, okay, he got his girl here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't walking into nothing. And I wasn't.
Okay.
So we ate. They was like catered food. We ate. He was like, y'all want to go to the movies? We was like, yeah. We went to his movie theater downstairs.
Walk down these stairs.
Went to his movie theater downstairs. And then after the movie was over, he was like, y'all want to go bowling? And we was like, sure. And then we went to the bowling alley in his house.
Yeah.
But we didn't know, right?
What movie y'all watch?
We watched Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
The one where the dude was like, no. When the ape finally spoke. It was
That's the
that
best
one.
one.
That's the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
one.
That's number 2, ain't it?
That's number 1.
That's number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we watched that one. And then
Oh, yeah,
we-
that
and
is
then
number
we-
1. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm a fan.
But it was cool. Like
I
he,
love those.
He
Yeah.
didn't even sit with me. He didn't sit nowhere near me. He was with his chick on their road, and I was with my girls on my road. It was just a random night.
Y'all have popcorn and red vines and everything? I need your movie theater to have all the snacks.
All the snacks, right? Yeah.
I ain't never been.
Justin over there like, wow.
No, I mean, you know, I ain't got the call in there. But
I ain't got the call.
fuck your feelings.
Like it's major league. Like I ain't got caught up to the show yet. You know what I'm saying?
He's just over here in AAA forever. Come on.
it's
Double A.
It's so funny seeing Eddie Murphy out and about because it's like seeing like a unicorn.
Yeah.
It really because I used to
Yeah.
see him at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory. You like, oh shit. Oh, and I remember we was so y'all know Chocolate Sundays how the comedians sit up at the top. And, you know, Eddie Murphy was there with his white girlfriend at the time. They got married now.
Yeah, they married.
So, you know, he got shades on like you, wearing all black. And he just sitting there like, I'm better than all of you.
Yeah.
And, or at least
Well, I mean, he is.
In his
Yeah,
Paul
exactly.
Mooney voice. Why he sound like Paul Mooney? I'm better than all of you.
better than all of you. Yes, yeah, he is better than all of us. That's
Well,
a fact.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. So I like when comedians act like niggas ain't better than them.
Yeah.
Dog. Like you'll talk about like how great Chappelle is. Like, I mean, he ain't that good.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
No, he is.
All right, nigga. His throwaway shit is better than the shit you've been working on for 12 years. So, anyways, that's besides the point. So he's sitting up there with his ivory queen, and the comedians was like talking too much or whatever. You know how the comedians be chatting, and then he did one of these. He did one of them vampire in Brooklyn looks. He did.
Oh my God.
And when I tell you, everybody stopped talking. It was like a school principal. Like he just did a look, and everybody said
Was he on the top row too?
he was on the top row.
Okay.
He was
Yeah.
sitting with us
Listen, let me tell you
peasants.
something. It's the most annoying thing
It is.
ever in that room. Like, I've been in that room enough times as a performer, and as somebody just dropping in, and I don't understand like what that thing is where comics who are not performing have to be in the room talking while another performer is on stage.
Right.
It's like, and some comics like have been doing this long enough to know better.
Right.
And again, only I stop because it happens at the Comedy Chateau where I'm like, why are you guys here in this lobby area, like running up like this big conversation while somebody's in the room
Right.
trying to manage like art, like it just speaks to the fact that a lot of comics don't have respect for
Right.
Yeah.
art, don't have respect for
People.
each other, but more importantly, don't have respect for themselves.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of comics don't understand how loud they are.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Off the
another
mic.
Nah,
thing,
I don't.
yeah.
Nah, I don't believe that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay. All right.
I think
Try to get them out. You're like,
no,
nah, they just
no,
don't.
no. I refuse to accept
All
it
right. All right.
because they know exactly how loud they are,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I don't think they give a fuck.
Yeah,
And
there's that too. Yeah.
matter of fact, not a lot of times, all the time, I think
Okay.
they don't give a fuck, and it just speaks to like where comedy is right
Yeah.
now. And years ago, comics would sit in the back of the room. I know this is the way I grew up. You sit in the back of the room, you would watch other performers,
Right.
and you were either learning or trying to support.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
couldn't get up, I know this is me and Tony Rock have this conversation a lot. It's like the opportunity. I remember I would sit if Damon walked in, like to improv, like you just knew you was as a young comic. If you were on the list and Damon walked in,
You wasn't getting up.
You wasn't getting up.
Yep.
That's the first celeb that ever bumped me, Damon Wayans.
Listen,
Deservedly so.
You what? Yeah, I mean, it's Damon, right? But it's like you could do one of two things: you can sulk and go home, or you can sit in the back of the room and learn.
Yeah.
And I sit in the
But
back
see,
of the room and learn.
that's the problem. Most comedians think they funnier than everybody that's on stage, and sometimes that's true, and sometimes it ain't true, and sometimes you can even learn from a bad comedian.
But what's the point of comparison?
Right.
It's the thief of joy comparison.
What's the point of comparison? Like you say, most comics feel like they're funnier than the person. So psychologically, if that's your default, there's something broken in you where, you know what I mean? Where your default isn't to how can I support the person by either watching them and punching up or shutting the fuck up, you know what I mean? Or encouraging. But it's like, oh, I'm going to judge this person to see where I am as by point of reference in my life, in my career. So all these things. And like, to me, I think that's a huge problem with where comedy is.
Yeah,
right now.
because I grew up like Royale, and I had 2 eras of my stand-up. And my early era was when it was the Comedy Act Theater, right after Robin Harris had blew it up. Ricky Harris, DL, and them was still in there.
This is when we learned that Kente is
152
right.
years old. I am Blade. I am a daywalker.
The Illuminati dealer served them well.
Exactly. That blood is delicious. Anyway, but my first 5 minutes I ever did in front of black folks was there. I got bumped by Paul Mooney in my first 3 minutes ever.
Did you?
He did 2 hours, and I'm trying to do 3 minutes at the Comedy Store. First time ever. I got on at like 12:30 because I wasn't going nowhere. But when I got off stage, Ricky Harris and was like, "Hey man, just slow down, work on your stuff." And these are like dudes that I've seen on Comic View and Def Jam and all that. And I'm like, "Oh, you paid attention?" But that's to your point. Like back then, everybody paid attention because they would tag each other's jokes. Like even to this day, I get excited when folks have paid attention to other comics and tag their jokes. Like it's some folks who are egotistical about their comedy, but then there's some folks like y'all in this room who be like, "Hey man, I like that joke. You should try this."
Right.
Because that means you, like you said, you listening to the other comics.
Paying attention.
And for me, it never was, I'm better than this person. It was, oh, that's funny. I wish I had wrote that. Now I'm gonna go write something so I can be funny like they were.
Right.
But like you said, to these, like Justin said, some of these cats are like, I'm funny already. So I'm like, well, you ain't got no room to grow. You never gonna be Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle never said in '95. I'm funny as I'm gonna get right now.
Right.
Everybody I see right now out there, I'm funnier than everybody. You can't grow like that.
What y'all do to like push yourselves? Oh, what you about to say, Alexis?
I mean, yeah, you just put me on the spot. No, I was gonna say I got bumped by T.I.
Oh damn!
Oh, me too. I got bumped off a whole show.
By T.I.?
I ain't even get to go up.
Oh yeah, he's doing 30 now.
Yeah, because I was supposed to
He's
close.
doing 30.
He does 30 out the gate. He
Yeah.
did 30 the
It's
other night.
crazy.
Is it legitimate?
No.
I haven't
No.
seen him perform.
No,
so I don't know. I'm only asking.
it's 30 because he's T.I.
T.I., right.
I've seen him do well, but that particular night I got bumped off the show. It was okay. It was time to wrap it up. But the first time I was there, the first night he ever did stand up in LA with me, Chris Spencer, Usher was there, Alex Thomas was there. We was all there that night, and he closed out the show. He did like 20 minutes, which was impressive because he was super new at it, and he had a solid set. Now, granted, his family and shit was in the room, but he didn't bomb though by any means. He didn't bomb. Now I seen him another night do cool. I seen him another night did better. I mean, it's comedy. But he do get 30 minutes because.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like you say it's comedy. It's now comedy has morphed into something because of social media that's more entertainment than right. We don't have people taking the stage and actually doing the work of what we traditionally know as stand-up comedy. Right? When you talk about craft and like structure of jokes and like I've seen people go on stage and do music shit for half their act, and it's like, wait, what's going on here? But hey,
Alexis.
I like that.
no.
I'm into that.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm talking about legitimately, and this is not to disparage anybody who does what they do to make a living. That's their business. But I'm talking about as a purist, as somebody who, again, gets on stage to present a certain piece of art to people. And that may be, again, my own personal thing, but I believe in this art form too much to give people a pass on something
Right.
that's not this art form, and then labeling it or trying to distribute it as this art form. Again, social media has allowed people to have their own audiences, which is great, which means they can sell tickets. But I just think it's really a kind of challenging thing to watch these comedy clubs say, oh, we're going to bring you in under the guise as stand-up comedy, and you're selling people this kind of other thing that's not this art form. But because they sell tickets and because, you know, again, it moves the commerce needle, then it's acceptable.
Now, so here's I hear what you're saying, and I receive it.
Well, then you receive it, Justin.
I know I receive that. This is what I was gonna say about T.I. Tip. Oh, shit.
Take your time.
Couldn't even get it out.
T.I. watching
Choking
right
on
now,
that
like,
line, right?
I know, right? Yo, this is what I'm gonna say about Tip, man. I seen him go last at the Laugh Factory recently, and it was a cool set.
Let me before you say that, let me just make it very clear. This has nothing to do with T.I. What I'm saying.
No, you said fuck. You said fuck.
No,
T.I.
because because I don't need this nigga making one of them morning videos where he pointing and walking with the camera around his property. This is not.
This is what I was gonna say.
Royale Watkins.
I don't come on podcasts and start nothing with nobody. T.I.'s talented. I'm not taking anything away from just being clear about
he's funny too. Like he was supposed to do Rush Hour. He was up for that. You know, and some things happened and he didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? But he was up for it at a certain time. It was supposed to be him. But so this is the point that I was gonna say. At least he went last, and I feel like he knows he's probably going to go long. He knows he's the biggest star in the room. So respectfully, at least he's going last because he's like, I'm going to run the light. I'm going to do 20, 30 minutes. So at least I'm going to go last so I'm not bumping the other comedians.
But here's my thing about that.
Okay.
And I'll take, just because we're talking about T.I., but just the craft. If Dave Chappelle wanted to rap, they wouldn't give him an album. They would give him 16 bars to prove himself. Then you build to a song.
He did open mics before he got to L.A.
No, I get that. I get that. I'm just talking about the process of the craft. But because and probably in today's world they would give Dave Chappelle a rap album and be like, don't do it.
I've done
well, there's
three.
a difference. Here's the thing. There's a difference though.
Yeah, there's a difference. But because if somebody was to come on to T.I.'s world and be like, hey man, I'm gonna come on your album and I'm gonna feature on every song, he'll be like, no you're not. Just because you a stand up, I'll give you one feature on one song. But because he's coming over here to stand up comedy and I'm like Royale, as a purist, we don't value it enough. We like, it's T.I., we gonna let you run the light. We gonna let you do 30 minutes. We gonna let, even though you don't necessarily, because we had to build 30 minutes. We had to build a strong 5, a strong 10, a strong 15 to prove to the promoters that we was enough to feature then headline.
But that's, you talking about a different construct though. Kente, you speaking to the old construct of beginning feature headliner structure of stand-up comedy where the gatekeepers kind of got to dictate how you move through the system. Under this new construct of social media where talent is coming into these houses with a built-in audience and kind of the talent and the agents and representatives are now dictating the terms of everything based on ticket sales. It doesn't work like that anymore.
No, but even in terms of, because there's still gatekeepers in terms of the producers, promoters of the shows. They could be like, yeah, T.I., yeah, blank rapper that wants to do comedy, blank actor that wants to do comedy. We'll give you 15 minutes. There's no way T.I. should ever follow Bill Bellamy and be like, this is your headliner.
Well, yeah, out of respect, that shouldn't happen.
And call him the headliner over Bill Bellamy.
Has that ever happened?
It just happened.
Where?
Just the other night in LA.
At a club or on a paid show?
It was a paid show.
Paid show at a club, right?
No, let's
Paid show
just
at the club. It was the Miracle Theater. It was a Christian show.
Oh.
But okay. So then,
but not a
but none of here.
Comedy store.
Bill was billed as the headliner and
Yes.
sure paid as the headliner for that show.
And then
right?
the night of,
so
they
then
were
night
like-
of,
Yeah.
T.I. probably shows up and they like put Tip on stage.
Yes.
So that's the construct of that. I think
Yeah.
that's a little different.
Okay.
That's slightly
But that's
different to
also
me.
happened at other. It happened at the what is it? Pleasanton, the Tommy T.
Oh, Tommy T's.
Yes. So comedy clubs are doing it
Get a
as
little
well
closer
as
to the mic, Kente.
as well as
These
paid
other
comedy,
venues.
the other venues.
Yeah.
So they're all doing it. So they all are complicit in it because T.I.'s got on stage and said, "I'm not going to respect the light. I'm not going to respect this. I'm going to do what I
I've seen
do."
that. I've seen it at the
And
comedy
nobody
store.
has said,
Yeah.
nobody has said you can't do that.
Well, all of the boundaries now have been kind of,
Right.
muddied,
Yeah.
so to speak.
What-
and
what-
They don't exist. They're not even muddy.
Yeah.
They virtually don't exist.
What you done seen, Alexis?
What you mean?
You said you said you
No,
saw some
I
things.
I saw him run a light at the comedy store and them bump everybody else for T.I. And I get what Kente is saying. I just think because you're famous and you're a rapper, I don't think you should be able to come in like that. You know.
Yeah,
I
if you
just-
got
I
a
agree.
hot 30,
I agree.
if you got a hot 30, then please let it happen. But if your 30 is, he cool, it was
yeah,
alright.
and it was cool.
Yeah.
It was lukewarm.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
For the
And
audience.
so,
And I'm talking about
know.
from the audience standpoint, it's like I came here to laugh. And you're not making me laugh. And I've always said this about fame. Audience will give you 15 minutes to prove yourself. Like if you're a famous comic,
15, you gonna get 2 minutes.
Nah,
No.
listen. Here's the thing. Audiences years ago would show up for comedy, and if you weren't funny, they would
Yes.
get up and leave, right? Because of social media, people are showing up to see if something happens.
Right.
Because
Crowd
if
work.
something happens and they can capture it, then they can put it on
they
their
can go
page.
viral.
And now it's amazing how people think ownership of a piece of content somehow makes them more important. You know what I mean? And so to your point is like, sure, I'll for an audience member, I'll stick around with T.I. on stage for 30 minutes of something that isn't necessarily Dave Chappelle level, Chris Rock level comedy.
Right.
Because if he does something to somebody in the audience and something happens,
Yeah.
I got this device right here in my hand that I can film it. And now somehow it makes me feel more important because I filmed it and put it on my page.
Hey Reggie, welcome back to the show.
over there taking a nap behind the glasses.
I'm agreeing. I'm not even saying nothing because everything y'all saying is the truth. It's like I'm the choir. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree.
So
Isn't everything supposed to grow? I know y'all are purists, but everything grows.
Evolution.
Including, and it's evolution of
yes.
everything. That's a real thing. You don't grow, you die.
Right.
Okay? So comedy should grow. I don't think there's anything wrong with comedy expanding. You know what I'm saying?
But what is that?
But-
Are you saying that as a point of reference to what?
Because you were saying you were a purist and this is not comedy and da-da-da-da. And it's like every art form has started out as a certain thing and expanded into something else. You know what I'm
What
saying?
did
Like,
jazz start out as and evolve to?
jazz goes back to like bebop and all that. Then it kind of became
tip your mic up. Your the
bebop.
there you go.
I mean, you kind of had the roots of like bebop and all that, and I love jazz. And then I mean, somebody could say,
And what does it evolve to?
Spalding.
what hip hop? That's what you saying?
No,
some
it's
of-
still
but-
jazz.
I mean, it's still jazz, but there are different forms. Jazz went to bossa nova jazz. There were different elements added to jazz as
Yeah,
time
you got
went
smooth
on.
jazz. You got
You got different forms
Sure.
of jazz, but that exploded out of jazz starting at a certain point.
Sure. So I can say, by comparison, sure, we have different forms of comedy, right? You have comics like raunchy comics. You have clean comics. You have alternative comics, right? These different forms of comedy, but it's still
And
based
you can have
in
musical comedy.
Yeah.
You got
you
musical
can have
comedy?
musical comedy.
Oh,
yes.
that's trash. That's
no,
not.
it's
no,
not.
just-
One of
I'm
my-
joking.
That's my life.
No, one of my favorite people right now. What's his name? Morgan J. Morgan J.
I don't know Morgan J. I need to look him up.
Yo,
it's a
I mean,
man or
it's a dude, and he has this guitar. I mean, it's one of the best comedy shows I've seen in a very long time.
But now, are
And
you
he
talking? Are
and
you
he does stand up
speaking
and music.
of music where you're
No, I'm
dancing
talking
to
about
the music
yes,
for
yes,
10
I'm-
minutes?
I'm talking.
Or
Yes.
you? Yeah, because
no, I'm not. There's two different things. You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're
It's
talking about.
like
When you get on stage and dance and tap dance for
yeah,
15,
it's like
20 minutes.
okay,
to
we
music.
know this song,
yeah.
and
I
we
don't
can
know what y'all
we can
talking about.
dance to this song at home.
Yeah.
I don't need you to play the song for 10 minutes and,
Yes.
and put the microphone in the audience and have me sing it.
Well, I seen Craig Robinson do that.
Well, Craig is different. That's
You know,
different.
piano.
That's
Well,
that's
what's
speaking
different?
more
Love
to
that.
What's different about Craig?
what
Because I
Craig-
see him play. I've heard him play songs almost like it's karaoke, but it wasn't like there was a joke. Like Jamie Foxx had like jokes attached to the story. Like you see what I'm saying? Like he would Mary had a little. You see, and he would, and then but it was like punchlines to it. But I've just seen Craig just like remember this hit, and then he's playing it.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. I think that Craig's act, at least when I watched him perform years ago, had a structure to it that had comedy and music.
Oh, gotcha.
And I think that I haven't seen his club act long form. I can't imagine that he can do that for 45, 50 minutes an hour.
Shit, I don't know. I mean,
no, he not.
I think it depends on your fan base. Like if your fans just love you and they just like we here to see you, they might sit through that.
No, they will sit still, but I'm just saying I can't see. That's got to be a little challenging to present that to an audience of paid customers for 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
So while I know he
right?
again is out regularly doing club dates that requires that, it would be a little challenging for me to see an audience sit still for just an hour of him just, remember this song, and I know how to play it well on this keyboard.
Right.
With no jokes.
Bo Burnham, he used music. Yeah. I think, if you do it the correct way, I mean, I agree with like comedy is evolving because even we was talking about this on another episode about how comedy used to be like you had to come with a punchline every 2 seconds and you had to kill and now, man, this is actually gonna get me to my next point because now you got to take it slow. Okay, so even me trying to get booked at certain clubs, right? Like let's say the Improv or the Comedy Store, which I already got passed at the Comedy Store, but I went off to go film a TV show. You know, I thought I was doing shit the right way. Came back, can't get up now. Yeah. Okay, so, but even me, when I'm submitting my footage, I'm like, is this too energetic for the store?
Submitting your footage?
Like a reel, a link to my stand-up.
Well, I don't, I'm in the same, I went up at the Laugh Factory last night, and my thing was on the marquee. Somebody had to tell me, he's like, yo, your face is on the marquee. So I went out there, and I was pleasantly surprised, like, oh, shit, I've never had like on the marquee like this at the Laugh Factory. So I took a picture, I posted, and I was like, I haven't toured in years. Maybe I need to get my black ass on stage and like, can I really sell tickets? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm only saying this as a point of reference to traditionally getting into these rooms would be you just show up and showcase.
That's what I'm saying. You can't even get a showcase. Yeah. That's the point that I'm saying. Like, so I'm emailing. I'm like, yo, first of all, I've been on TV for the last fucking whoever knows long, but network TV the last 6 years of my fucking life. That's number one.
You're really passionate. You said fucking life.
Yeah,
fucking life.
Two times because more words.
Because it's absurd to me as a comedian. It's like we work to get to a place to get on TV, so it's easier for us to go get stage time. Right. Yeah.
So are you selling tickets on the road?
I sell enough to get booked at the store when I'm looking at other niggas that did shit.
No, but I'm just saying you're out on the road selling tickets. I wasn't challenging anyone. I'm just saying my point is fuck the store. That was your point.
This is the point I was getting to. That wasn't my point.
Not fuck the store like that, but I'm just like you have.
We detoured from my point. My point was this. This is my initial point, which is feeling like you have. I hear what you're saying. Fuck the store. I agree. Fuck anybody that's not gonna book you. Fuck them. Go on about your business. I understand that. But I'm just saying in general, when you're in town and you're a comedian and you're trying
Let's
to
be
perform,
clear. We're not saying fuck the store. The point is like moving a different, because then somebody go take the clip and go, they said fuck the store, and then we not getting.
Well, I ain't getting booked anyway. But so that's real. Fuck it. That's kind of what your point was. You were saying
it's like moving a different direction. You gotta go where the love is.
But this is the point that I'm still making is my initial point was, do y'all feel like, so when I'm submitting, so let's say this is new, like, yo, let me try to get, because I get up at, I'm regulars at these other clubs. I'm a regular at the Laugh Factory. I'm a regular at the clubs in the Valley. I could pop in and they're like, hey, Justin, you want to go up? But the store in the Improv specifically, I'm not on their radar. Like, even though my face is on their marquee at the Improv. Like, you could go to the Improv and they show, like, these are the celebrities that perform at the Improv. I'm up there.
It's kind of crazy, right?
That's really crazy.
That's really crazy. Okay, so that's why you heard the two fucks. So so that being said, I said, okay, let me humble myself. I'm big at humbling myself. Said, let me humble myself, reach out to the booker and send them links to my recent stand-up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let me send that. No reply, no nothing. So I'm thinking like, damn, am I too energetic? To get back to your point, This what it is. See, I was rapping all this around. I'm a beast at what I'm doing. Comedy evolves, right? So now I'm like, well, damn, am I too much for what works or what they feel comedy is supposed to be at their club? Because they're used to comedians just standing still, not moving around so much. So then you got this young black comedian who still got smart jokes, but I'm still like this too. And it's like, do I have to like?
Can't even be a consideration.
Yeah.
Can't even be a consideration.
No, you gotta be you.
Yeah.
If you sell
be
blueberry pies,
Yeah.
you can't for 1 second start thinking about selling apple pies.
But okay,
preacher.
I agree with that. But my question was, do y'all feel like, have y'all ever thought about I need to? But I agree 1,000% what you're saying. But have y'all ever had that thought?
Yeah. I mean, you always had a thought. Well, you have the thought when you're growing in comedy. But when you find your voice and it's you and you comfortable, nah, I'm not changing this. Because people will be like, you need to stop cussing. You need to start cussing. You need to, be. Because I'm like you. I'm different than you. Like, you're energetic. I can never be Justin. I'm not running around like that. and it's no disrespect. Because I look at it like you and D-Lay. I'd be like, damn, they be. I wish I could do that.
It's Tony Roberts, like,
Yeah,
well,
Tony Roberts.
Jesus
And,
Christ.
yeah, I'm like, I wish I could do that. But I can't it's not me. I can't do that. It's not who I am. It's almost like back in high school, like the niggas that would be in the locker room talking about who everybody was fucking. I was never that. So I'm not gonna get on stage and talk
What you
about
mean
everybody.
you wasn't bragging or you
I
wasn't
wasn't
getting no
bragging.
pussy?
I was definitely fucking. I wasn't bragging. Because I realized niggas was bragging, wasn't really fucking. But now in my comedy, I can't get on stage and talk about fuck jokes, sex jokes. I can't do that because that's not me. And they be like, you need to talk about who you fucking want. No, I'm not that
Who
dude.
was they?
You know,
Who was this?
random
Just
friends. Who,
magic
people,
dude.
right.
it's
Right.
Weird
it's
ass.
always
You need to talk about
yeah,
who is that
it's
dude?
always the homies or somebody at the barbershop
It's somebody
or family.
really,
Yes.
really-
Oh no, I've had all these conversations. You need to drink more. Got drunk on stage and forgot all my punchlines. Can't drink ever again on stage.
But that ain't a real
That never
friend.
makes
That ain't a
sense.
real
Yeah,
friend.
But this is.
He was like, it was my father that told me.
Yeah.
this.
Oh, and then Popson told me you need to talk about politics. I'm like, I'm not talking about politics because I get too mad about politics and I'm gonna cuss somebody out in the audience.
Yeah.
But it's been people as you growing as a comic, and not now, but younger in my life. You need to do this. You need to be like this. You need, and so you'll have those thoughts. But once, like I said, once you find your voice in comedy, you can't be like I'm gonna change. I'm not gonna be Luther no more. I'm gonna be Luther Campbell. You gotta be Luther Vandross if that's how you sing.
Right. Let it flow where it goes. Period.
So, oh, my bad. Go.
No, I was just saying, people tell me I need to talk about niggas and relationships. And that's just not that important to me. It's not. It's just, like it's important. Like, I have a great dating life. I always have. But I don't want to talk about it.
I was about to say, do you not have any?
What do you talk about on stage, Alexis?
Huh?
What do you talk about?
It's just my family, my perspective. I've traveled
Boring.
the world. Like I just feel like I don't know.
Talk
Like
about your
I've
life.
traveled the world. You know what I'm saying?
Let
As
'em
a
know.
young black woman, like I've been in huts in Africa. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I done did shit, and I think that's interesting. I don't want to talk about relationships and niggas and sex. I don't care. I've never been the type to care about any of that.
I mean, I just want to give a shout out. We have our first non-binary guest on Fuck Your Feelings, and this is a moment.
Wait, what happened?
I am so that though. I'm fluid as fuck.
Yes.
I knew when she wasn't.
See, when she started saying all that shit, I said, I know where we at.
I've always been that. Kente.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
You hit
saying I
the
was
shit out of
fluid
that.
before all this.
Nobody knew it. I didn't even know what fluid was.
Yeah,
Like, she
did
weird.
nobody know what it was? I was the first person saying it. I swear.
When did you know? At what age did you know?
I was 19 when I fell for a chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because, like I said, I'm from the South. I grew up in a black church. Like, my mama don't play that. And I just really fell for a girl. And I don't know why. It just happened. It ain't like I had a shortage of dudes at the time. You remember me back in?
Yeah.
Like, I just fell for this girl. And we was in a full-blown relationship. It was so weird. It was so crazy.
Let's go into it. No, I'm joking.
She's feeling a pussy.
Spotlight on Alexis.
So
So
do you
tell us
talk
more.
about that on stage?
I have attempted to. I'm gonna be real. I have a mother. that is very
That's a good question.
Judgmental.
very judgmental. And me and my mom are fairly close. Like, I love my mama. I talk to her like every day, and that's one thing she don't play about. Like, she like gay dudes. She don't do gay chicks at all. She hate lesbians. Well, let me not say hate, but yeah, my mama don't do lesbians.
So you
Go for it, Royale.
This is a really interesting space to me. It's like, so you said you're very close to your mother, and you love your mother.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't love her enough to introduce her to your authentic self.
This just turned into a therapy session.
Look, no, it really, like, because it's deep, and I can't go into why,
it is.
but it's so deep, and I know why she is the way she is, and like, she done got hints, and she got mad, and she like cut me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being real, so I'm just like, look, I can't come out till I'm like famous.
How many siblings?
I can buy her. I can buy her a condo.
Rob your mother of the opportunity to love that part of who you are.
Cause also, it's not like I'm sitting up here declaring that I'm gay. I'm just fluid, and I fall in love with who I fall in love with.
But now you're mincing titles, right? To like saying I'm fluid, and it's not like saying announce that I'm gay. Because
I still date dudes.
That's fine.
You know,
but you
I just
also
dated a
were
dude.
very clear that you also like women.
Yeah.
So here's my question: is so your mom don't know? Okay, so
She's not gonna
probably
watch
won't watch
this
this.
I'm about to say, so when this is a clip,
Don't watch this, mama.
you're gonna be like, you ain't sharing this one.
I'm not sharing
What do
this
you think
clip.
will happen if you went to your mother and tell her that you were in a relationship with a female?
Oh, she would cut me off, and she wouldn't talk to me.
She said she
Because
gave
it
her
already
hints.
happened with somebody in my family.
But it wasn't her
Right.
daughter though.
I can't talk
But-
about
okay,
anything,
okay,
but it already
All right.
happened.
Okay.
And to your defense,
Very like
I got my mama and my mother's family is from Texas.
This is when
Houston
Kente
as
comes
well.
out of the closet.
No, I'm not.
The surprise we didn't see
The
coming.
closet is not coming out over here. But I know that I have a lesbian cousin. My uncle. Now she got a Jerry curl. She's played basketball. She looked like Queen Latifah and Cheryl Miller mixed. And she
That's a strong combination.
Yeah, literally put it all in your head. And to this day, and she's 50 something. To this day, she still says to my uncle, "Yeah, that's my roommate," because he won't accept her non-traditional lifestyle, and she doesn't want to be cut off from that uncle. So I get the dynamic of it. I see it played out in real life. Like, I'm like, she was like, I can't bring my girlfriend over to my uncle's house. We can't stay there for Thanksgiving. We got to get a hotel. And I'm like, why? He got extra rooms and they need the help. Because, he don't like my roommate. I'm like, you still calling her your roommate?
Well, this is what
at 56?
You know what's so crazy? I actually had this in my notes for today about how black people are still homophobic. Because Royale, I know even you played what was that?
Telly and Delivers from Eva.
Yeah, and phenomenal. Like your character in that was phenomenal. The way you did that role. Did you feel any backlash from doing that
there's
role?
no question. I was like a lot of people that thought that I was homosexual after playing that role. It's like, it's interesting. I had to, and that's part of the thing that drives me with this space and being clear with people. But yes, there's a lot of people. So
move the mic a little closer. Or try. There you go.
It just was a weird dynamic managing my way through people's perception of me after playing a role. And that one specifically, just having fun with it. And for me, when I take an acting job, it's like you could be a character. You could be a character version of something, or you can like tell it, like live. And I'm an artist, and so I choose to like live. And so when they say action, then I'm living as the person that's, I'm not trying to pretend to be gay. I'm like telling the truth of who this person is. And the funny thing is, like, again, if you paid attention to the movie after the credits, it's revealed that I'm pretending to be gay to keep a job.
Oh, we not
but
watching.
black folks is like,
yeah.
we gone after the.
Yeah.
As soon as this shit's done, we down the aisle.
Yeah, this ain't Marvel. I ain't waiting for the end.
Exactly.
Right.
There's no sneak peek at no shit. He
I'm gonna
gay.
be honest. I never made it that far. I didn't
saw
know
it.
that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I might have seen it one time. I might have seen that.
I only saw it though
But I knew
on
you
like
were real.
TNT. I only waited till it.
Oh,
I didn't see it at the movies
yeah.
with the credits.
Yeah, but imagine how many people saw the movie, and there's listen. BET at one point ran that movie like it was a TV series.
Yeah.
And so if you missed it when it was playing in the theater, BET made sure you saw it. And again, the audience for that movie is probably 80% black female. And so you got all these black women saying, "Oh, he's gay. He's gay. This dude's gay." And even the dudes that saw was like, "Oh, you do that too well."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I talk about it too because I did 21 Jump Street and I played the gay black dude in there. But the difference is I played my gay regular. So I was just, I know, right? I just said I was gay, but I talked like this. I was like, "What's up? What's up, niggas? By the way, I suck dick." You know, that now that'll be a clip. No, but so I think but I talk about it in my stand up actually, and I talk about how in the black community, if you play gay, you just gay. Like, we don't know what acting is.
Yeah.
Because they like, no, it was too believable.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, no, dog, it was too believable. So I talk about it in my stand up about that or whatever. So, but I haven't done any other gay roles because I already know with our community, you know, they'll
freeze you out.
They'll freeze you out. They're black because black people so homophobic still.
But is that a reason not to do the roles?
Yes, for
Why can't we just be like, no, y'all need to like get it together?
I don't got time. I don't got time for all of
You
that
can't
shit.
save them all.
Yeah, I don't got time for all that shit. I'm trying to work, and I don't got time for. I mean, I hear what you said. What you're saying is correct,
Right.
and I feel like as a woman is much easier.
Absolutely.
But as a black
Yeah.
man in America, I don't have time to be like, y'all need to do. Y'all need to do
Wait,
better.
Will Smith one of his first roles.
But it was
He was a
one.
gay.
That's the point I'm making.
I mean,
He didn't like go back to back. He didn't drink us. You know, he didn't go back to back. He was like,
You talking about 6 Degrees?
6
yeah,
degrees.
6
yeah.
degrees, yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't flamboyantly hot Cheeto gay in
Hot
6
Cheeto.
Degrees. You know what I mean? Seriously, like
Yeah.
$5. Who was the nigga from
Yeah.
Baby Boy? $60.
Yeah. And like that has followed Will Smith throughout his life, like in the black community. People be
then
like,
he's
I know
also
you
Will
played that
Smith
too
and
much.
had
He's
enough
still Will
opportunities
Smith,
to
though.
rectify
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
through
yeah.
But he's still Will
huge,
Smith,
yeah.
though.
big action films.
But this,
Do we have to always appeal to the black community because we're black? Does that always have to be a concern
I mean, I
in
wanna
our
go to the
careers?
cookouts,
I'm gonna
so.
be real.
It depends on. Okay, so that's a very
concern for
valid
me.
question.
Like-
That's a very
I'm gonna
valid
say
question.
yes.
It depends
You know
on
why?
Yeah.
Because once another community abandons you, right?
they will.
And they will,
and
yeah.
sometimes they
Out
do.
here.
Right? You have to ask yourself who's your core audience that's going to support you and allow you to make a living for yourself.
I feel like I'm somebody who I feel like my core audience is a mixed bag. And I say that, yeah, I would say that solidly because that is who I am. I think my core audience is a mixed bag. Of
Why
like,
you say because that's who I am?
Because I'm like a very eclectic personality. Like I
Yeah,
always
move
went to
your
arts.
mic stand back because you talking over the mic.
Oh,
not
my
in the
bad.
mic.
I'm back.
Just move it back so you talking into the mic. There you go.
It's always been like that. Just my friend groups, my whole life. Because you talk about a community. I've always felt like I didn't really have a community. I was always just in and out of different communities and embraced by different communities and sometimes not embraced. And I always went to art schools, like, and hung out with emo kids, hung out with the painters who was quiet, you know what I'm saying? Like, hung out with the black kids in music, the white theater kids. I've always just been that person comfortably.
What is your ethnicity?
So my dad is from Cape Verde, and my mom is a black woman from the South. So Cape Verdean is like being Dominican or Brazilian. So yeah, so he looked like, you know, and then his mom looks like a white woman. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, that's who I grew up in a house full of niggas.
Your
Like my
dad
mom
looked like the Last Dragon.
Yeah, he right up in there. Exactly. Yeah, and my mom is a black woman from the South and like from the projects. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say, and kind of in defense of what Royale is saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It sounds great. You will be identified when you blow. They're gonna identify you. They either go say you black.
I'm black.
Okay.
No doubt about
So
it.
you gonna be identified as black.
Absolutely.
what they're saying is, if you was to ever get into any type of trouble, all these other groups that you feel like I'm a part of, they will turn their back on you. And it's going to be the black community that's going to still uphold you. So even with Jonathan Majors and all that shit,
Yeah.
no matter how them white friends he had at them studios and his white representation, and he thought he was in there because he Jonathan Majors and he popping. But when he strangled that white bitch,
Allegedly.
I don't know if he did that either. I'm just talking shit. This is just fuck your feelings, you fucks. When he strangled that white bitch, it was the black community that still supported and uplifted him and gave him a benefit of the doubt. When Chris Brown, bebop, bop, Rihanna, do I have to say allegedly?
No.
Okay.
That's not allegedly.
That really happened.
Okay, when he did all of that, it was still the black community that helped lift him up through all of that strife. So I think that's the point that they're saying.
My experience has been very different. I'm just being honest.
Okay,
But
What about a different person? Like, then there's room for a different
Yeah.
perspective in this conversation.
I'm listening.
Like, I was told growing up, I'm just going to be honest, by the black community that, and just in school, you're not talented. You're not pretty. You can't sing. It was always coming from my people with me.
That's a fact.
And other people always told me I could. And that's my experience. I always got most of the negative feedback from people in my community. And that's just my experience.
Oh no, that's there.
I think that's
all black folks.
that's everybody until you famous.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody until you famous. And once you become famous,
Yeah.
niggas gonna be on your side. And it's gonna be people that's gonna talk shit about you on the shade room.
But like, what is that? And I don't
Shade
think,
room?
and I think it's kind of, I mean, I know what the shade room is.
But no, it's yeah, to your point, because even like the Michael B. Jordan clip where he's on the red carpet and the young lady is interviewing him, and he's like, "Oh, you the one that said I was funny looking," and she's like, "Oh, I didn't say that. I said you was funny."
No, a lame.
Yeah, a lame or something. She said something, but he remembered it, and that moment is the essence and the dichotomy of the black community. You ain't funny enough. You too smart for this. We've heard all that from our people. Then you blow up and you get bigger, and folks like, oh man, you are people. And
But I don't care about that.
no,
So
I'm
that's
not,
not real shit to
I'm
me.
not saying
I'm being
you
very
care about it,
honest.
but that is what happens with us. And I've always said the best thing, I have no problem with that type of verbal bullying, because that type of verbal bullying made me a comic. Because it came from in my family at 10 years old. And my mom was like, you better talk back to him and get him back. You know, just take, wish you would cry because he said something about you. Did he touch you? No. So the essence, it's all of the black community to me. It's all of who we are. Yes, we play the dozens, but we love you harder than anybody else if you're one of ours. That's what I'm saying with that. So yes, when you blow up, and we hope nothing ever goes wrong.
Right.
But if something goes wrong historically, the other folks are like, oh yeah, you got to go. We've been waiting for you to do that. The black folks still be like, hey baby, we got you. You can still come. You can still come on over here. We got you.
Yeah, you can always come home.
You can come home.
Yeah, you can always
Always come home.
Even with your experience and how you feel about it, if, like I said, in worst case scenario, if something like that happened, black folks will still, even the other folks who your true friends are still gonna be like, yeah, you true, our true friends.
Yeah.
We're talking about outside community, like your fan base. You know, as your fan base grows and you have an eclectic fan base, if something ever was to happen where you were to fall from grace, black folks historically have been the ones to be like, she one of ours. We gonna pick her up. You got a safety net to land in with the black community.
I mean,
other folks be like, you got to hit that
And
ground.
that's exclusively because of your skin color.
Yeah, I think that's a large part, right? Alexis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the difference between you saying, I hear you saying that
Move
hasn't
the
been
mic a little closer. There you go.
that hasn't been my experience, and what the reality of this country and the dynamics of like the social construct and race and all of that stuff. it's like that's even outside of your experience because it's bigger than your experience.
Yeah.
It's the construct of this country.
I'm very familiar with that. I used to have a blog called Choose Free. My mom nicknamed me Malcolm X, so I'm very, I ran the liberation in high school. I was very on that. But like I said, as I've traveled the world and I've gotten into the study of spirituality and your inner creating your outer, and that shit being the realest thing I know.
Yeah.
I've really just expanded in so many ways, even in the way I perceive myself, the way I perceive myself racially, even understanding how these terms were given to us and placed on us as people. And we still stick to them and subscribe to them in ways that I feel like hinder us. And absolutely, yeah, that I feel like hinder us. But that's just
What do you mean the titles?
That's like I just feel like because the way you perceive yourself creates your reality. And I feel like they've told us for so long who we are. And we have been like, yes, we are that. And now we're hanging on to what they told us instead of really exploring ourselves as individuals and self-actualizing. And I know that may sound too, but like
No, not at
like
all.
I have this series, Black Alice, that I started in the pandemic because I'm not really a social media person. I don't like hoeing myself out online. That's just not my personality.
Yeah,
it's just
Justin.
not. And look, I'm not saying.
Me and
Kente
Kente over there like, I know.
Try to get these numbers up.
No, what y'all do is cute. Like what y'all do is cute. But I'm just saying, especially for a woman.
No, I'm
you know
finna go kill myself.
No, like look, I'm not trying to judge nobody, but especially
And your numbers
for,
really go up.
like, you know, dude, I mean, look, I'm just saying it's a lot as a woman, a good looking woman that I could be doing and I choose not to do because that's just not who I am. So I've never been a numbers person, but you know, in the pandemic, I was like, you know what? Because people who know me know how crazy my life has been. I didn't even get into the Eddie Murphy stuff that he told me. But I have moments like that Eddie Murphy moment, so many moments in my life, like let me know, okay, this reality is beyond what we see. And that is so real. And so my friend's like, yo, you should tell stories about your life because it's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to do a story time. So I started doing this thing called Black Alice, where I'm telling these crazy stories about my life and going down a rabbit hole and really being like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like life is on some whole other shit. Turning it into a series, whatever. But I'm very passionate about it.
Just tilt the mic.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Just the actual that part. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of lost my
My bad. I ain't shit.
and my bad. No, what you think about yourself. Everything outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Energy is the realest thing. It is a science. That's what the Bible is. It is a book of metaphysics, and Christ was teaching scientific principles, and we don't, we kind of just, and oh God, I feel like I'm getting so deep, but
Get deep on us.
I'm just very passionate about this because we're in a new age as humans. 2020 it ushered us into the age of Aquarius, which is about science. We just left out of Pisces, which is ruled by religion and all of that. So literally, we're going to learn how to be a more science-based society. That's where we're headed. So me knowing this and knowing like, okay, basically they programmed us to see ourselves and to subscribe to certain things, and we're like running on this loop, especially as black, and not just black people, humans, just period. We're running on loops, and we're creating this finite reality that basically isn't really the facts of what it is. If I hope y'all are like,
Man, let me tell you something. I love women.
What?
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
What?
Because I heard Mike Tyson say this. He said, "What do you think when you talk to a woman, or what do you get from women?" And for men, for so long, it was vagina. That's what we want. But the actuality is, we ought to be learning from y'all, because if we take some time to sit back and listen to what you're saying, y'all are the greatest teachers on the earth.
But yeah.
So that's why I appreciate everything you just said.
And historically,
Yeah.
that's been like that. And as you travel outside of the country, you'll realize America is one of the most closed-minded. We got to do it like this in a bubble. We still think we, the number one country in the world, and that's on some old 1975 type stuff, and not even close. But historically in the black community, I always go back to the us because that's where I'm from. Your grandmother and your mothers taught you the most. My mama used to be like, look it up. You don't know something, go look it up. So to your point, it was. I don't know when it happened when black men was like, I ain't gotta listen to black women no more. But I
think that was just men in general.
But
feel like they don't gotta listen.
But we didn't do that. Mm-hmm. We didn't do what men in general did.
That's what you're saying.
Until a certain point when we were like, we just men in general.
Around the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, and probably more like the 80s.
Yeah.
Probably late 80s.
I think you're right.
Mid to late 80s. But we can't be men in general. Like, we're not, because we're not people in general. We're the original people who have been stolen, who have been tainted, who have been, a little bit sprinkled on.
Slavery was a choice. Is that a clip?
hey,
clip chasing ass.
Do black people still got his back though? I'm just,
Who?
Kanye's still doing it, but I don't think it's black people supporting him at this point.
Low key. Kanye did a little too much. So this is what this is what we were saying about having your back. We talk about a couple fuck ups. Hold on, now you want to talk? Hold on. I said that quiet, goddamn librarian. I'm like, is that library books? Why is this nigga not talking? So,
you said Kanye? Let me say something.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say something about what she was saying.
This is the point I was about to say real quick about Kanye. Kanye fucked up repeatedly several times, several times, and also turned his back on the black community several times. Right. So what we're talking about is you not like turning, you're not saying like fuck black people or like, I'm all about, this side. So yes, black people will still have your back. Like I said, once you become famous. But niggas ain't really riding with him. I just started back listening to some Kanye.
The first two albums.
Oh yeah, right.
And I mean, this
the
is
first two albums. Exactly.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Nah,
that's
a classic.
The best.
I'm good on that.
That's classic.
Classic.
That's a classic.
No,
that's
my daughter loves it. She can have it.
That's my
From A to Z.
That might be my third favorite, because I still think the first two are my two favorites.
Yeah.
But I think
College Dropout.
College Dropout
And Late Registration. Yeah.
But then after that, my beautiful, what is it?
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, no, that's my shit.
That's number 2 for me.
What you about to say though?
I just wanted to add one thing to the conversation.
And we're out of time.
Oh my God.
Classic. And that'll be all for us this week, folks.
And that is comedy.
Go boy, what you about to say?
Nah, I just wanted to add that when we're talking about the conversation about us as a people and kind of our experience in general, I was reminded of this the other day. I was talking to my pops. Now my dad was born in 1958. If you do the math, he was born just 93 years from the abolishment of slavery. Mm-hmm. That's not even a full 100. Betty White lived to be 99 and 8/4, basically 100 years.
I'm about to say she 8/4.
That's how you live long.
Scientifically and mathematically, right? We're trying to be math. You know what I'm saying? Scientific, right?
I was confused. I was like, what?
99 and a half.
She had wooden teeth?
She probably did.
Dang, oh my God.
She probably did. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Bitch came over on the Mayflower.
Yeah. From the Mayflower to Golden Girls.
She made the Mayflower.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, so like, and this is my dad. So it's like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm connected to somebody that really missed slavery by like a few years, in terms of being born into that servitude. So, a lot of the customs and things that we are still getting to that, like, I feel like our generation is like the generation that's kind of now starting to kind of rinse clean some of the programming you were talking about, and I'm just talking about from just the programming aspect. We can get into like
what's
all
in the DNA,
the lifestyle,
like
how fear and all those. Like you're talking about the science about all that stuff. But we got to kind of cut ourselves some slack too, because we weren't given anything to go forward with. In fact, the people that owned us were actually given reparations. They were given the equivalent of like $8,000 per slave that they lost. Mm-hmm. Because we were their property. Yeah. So how's it that
they had insurance on slaves? That's what you said?
Yeah.
They did.
Much.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No, they did.
No. All of the
AAA had had policy.
Yeah, it's stupid. But no, if you look at the old insurance companies that are over 100 years old, they had insurance policies on slaves for
yeah.
runaway slaves,
Yeah.
for slaves that died on the field,
Yeah.
because they're your property. So
Yeah.
you have car insurance.
Yeah.
They had slave insurance. It
Yeah.
was the same. Most of the insurance companies that are big today started with insurance on slaves.
Damn, man.
So
Nothing like good slave talk.
You know where I'm at with that? You know where I'm at with that, though? It's like we know how terrible it was, right? But we really need to acknowledge as a whole the damaging effects it had on our psyche and our mentality. And I always say the wound might not be your fault, but the responsibility to heal is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So in 2023, we understand the past. Now we got to understand how we need to heal right now. And that's what I'm all about. I did this program when I was like 23. It was an emotional technology. It basically went into your brain, ripped out trauma and
Oddity.
emotions.
Oddity.
It was called Mastery and Intertransformational Training, MITT.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, every black person in this country needs to go through this. And y'all, when I tell you, when I finish this shit, because I've done drugs, like psychedelics, when I did this shit,
No.
y'all, I felt like, yeah. But I felt like, and I was completely sober. After doing this shit, I was floating. It was like my pupils was dilated. I felt like I popped like 3 Mollies.
Which drugs have you taken?
Acid, shrooms. I tried coke the night of the lockdown.
God damn,
for the
that hit you.
first time.
That hit you quick. The pandemic hit her. Most people waited like 3 weeks or a month. She's like, "Oh fuck this."
Can't go outside. Let me get a line.
I didn't know what was going on.
He's like, you know what? It's a good time. Let me go ahead
Look,
and
I was
tap
at a
this.
party. They told us to be in the house. This shit was gonna kill us. This dude came in. I got some good coke. I was like, I ain't never tried that. Come here. So I did it. But that's
I'm blown away by Alexis. Everybody.
I was gonna ask you, did you have the coke
Did your mom know you tried coke?
yes. I just told her this 2 weeks ago.
cut you off?
I was like, Mom,
But
you
some
know how long
pussy.
I've been in LA and never.
But a little bit of pussy.
That's how my mama is, though.
A little bump of
It's
pussy.
deep, y'all.
I'd rather you be a crackhead than a lesbian.
I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you, yes. She
Well,
would rather.
I would have to say I don't know your mama, and but I would have to only think there has to be some past trauma in her life for
Absolutely,
why
I can't
she's
get into that.
Yeah,
But there's that's why I said it's deep.
Sure.
It's deep.
I
There's
get
trauma.
that.
There's trauma there.
This the last thing. What really I wanted to, because we got to get Reggie involved.
I'm,
You know,
hey, man, I'm playing my
real strong.
position on this,
he
man.
put the shades on and disappeared.
No.
So I got twist in my hair right now, as we can see.
Yeah. Proud of you, man.
I mean, they won't stay in long.
No, I know they will.
However, you've been rocking locks for a long time. I know at a certain point, people was telling you to cut your locks off in order to be successful and book
Right.
stuff in Hollywood. What's the story behind that, and why did you decide, I'm gonna grow my locks out and just do me?
I mean, because of, the landscape we was looking at that time, when we were doing like a lot of like YouTube stuff, and we were doing, shooting our own videos. I just enjoyed being my own person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoyed the freedom of who I was, and I always felt like the industry, when it comes to us, there's like a double standard. So everybody else can be them, but then when we want to be us, we gotta take it down a notch, or a lot of time people like, oh well, you're gonna come off too hard, or you're gonna scare these white folks. As that they would always say, you're gonna scare these white folks. I'm like, but they're gonna be scared regardless. So why do I care about what they think? And I struggled with it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I went back and forth. I was like, wow, but this, it is kind of like a job interview, but then at the end of the day, bro, I was like, nah, this is the hill I'm gonna die on. You know what I'm saying? For better or for worse. And cats like you, and even like other cats that are writers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what kind of inspired me to start creating. For the longest time, he's like, man, you need to start writing some. You got good content. You should start writing shows. You should start. And I was like, nah, I'm a comedian, man. I get up on stage 6 nights a week. I get bumped at the Comedy Store. You know what I'm saying? I get passed to the Improv, then I don't get passed. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian's comedian. You know what I'm saying? But man, I found through writing and creating my own stuff that I could just be who I want to be anyway.
Yeah.
And I ain't gotta, because I'm telling you, as for black men in Hollywood, it is doubly hard because so many of us have to dilute ourselves in order to be accepted in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And and I've been in some rooms and some showcases where they do all but call you a nigga. You know what I'm saying? They say certain things and they do certain things to devalue you. So
What happened, Reggie? Who
hey, man, you want me to start naming names now?
Fuck your feelings.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? I can name some names, you know what I'm saying? But
I do know there is one person you want to speak.
But man, we gonna talk about that. But
Cancel him.
There's one person that he always like, I want to spit in his face.
man,
Hey,
wow, man, it's
gotta
been,
have one.
It's been, but the funny thing is when I didn't
Spit in his face?
Nah, well, clearly I did. I'm still out here. You know what I'm saying? I was back home in Kansas City cutting grass if I did that. You know what I'm saying? I had a lawn care service during the pandemic, but I didn't cut my hair. And then all the cats that was telling me to cut my hair 10, 15 years later, now they got twisties. Now they got locks. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody got their hair
Because
grown
black
out.
is the new black now.
You know what I'm saying? But these same folk was telling me you ain't gonna never be nothing. You should do this. But now they doing the same. So I was right. You know what I'm saying? My intuition was right, and to stick to my course and play my game, and that's just what I've been doing.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yes, ma'am.
It's so interesting as a woman. This has been my experience. I was Malcolm X. I was very adamant about being natural. And this, you know how long I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
I came in, all my headshots was natural. You know, like the chick from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been like doing that.
Zazie
Beats.
Beats.
Yeah, I was on that. And I kept getting told I needed to wear wigs. I needed to straighten my hair. Yeah. And I was told this by mainly black people. Yeah, black casting directors.
Yeah.
Black white people they would cast me in commercials. They would cast me in their stuff with natural hair. And I was consistently told by black people in this industry that I needed to look better.
Yeah.
And
Because they've been programmed.
But just the
Exactly.
dichotomy. But that's so crazy to me. And I would find myself on these projects where they would cast me as the friend, and I would be next to somebody half as talented, light skinned. And I know I'm considered light skinned, but I'm a different. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be next to like this. I am.
She middle.
I'm being honest with you. I am a different light skin. I've always felt like that.
What does that mean?
So okay, growing up, I had two friends. They was more Mariah Carey looking with looser hair. So they would always get looked at. I never got looked at. They always looked at Carla and Angie. The boys would always go after them, and I would just be there. And then the black girls that's full black would be like, "Oh, you ain't us." So it's like I was never the mixed baddie, and I was never the black girl. So I was always like, I don't know where to be real with you.
Right,
My curls are curls, but they tight. So I always had this weird experience, like this in between experience. But yeah, I would get cast on stuff. They would cast like the Paula Patton as the lead, and I would be next to her as her friend. That's been my experience, in this town. To
That
be
real
with
red
you.
bone. You ain't
Yeah.
a real red bone.
Exactly, and I'm like, all right. So, but then for black people, I'm not black enough.
Right.
Shit, I got to create my
I
own.
think it
Right.
speaks to the larger kind of concept that none of us really know.
Exactly.
No, I'm being serious.
for real.
Like,
What you mean by that? None of us know what?
Well, I mean, you have black people that are trying to inform other black people about what's going to make them successful based on their own experiences.
Right.
When the reality is none of us
That's
know.
very true.
Like
Yeah.
the only thing that
Yeah.
really we can count on is our talent.
Right.
And so if your talent walks you into the room and you present something that, like, the talent has to drive everything to the extent that people are willing to forgive.
You don't got no headphones on right now, but we
this-
playing Redbone. Shout out to Kevin.
Damn it.
They back working.
Everybody, just take it.
I know, right? I had to play
And
this.
trust in your instincts. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Keep talking. It sound good over the beat. Keep talking.
Do it,
bro.
do it, do it. Your voice sound
Trust
real
your
good.
instincts and let your talent speak for you and leave it in the room.
Yep.
Leave it in the room.
100.
Hey, what y'all got coming up, man? We about to get out of here, man. Let people know y'all socials. If y'all got any shows, anything, whatever.
We gonna start with who?
Go, Reggie. Go first.
Yeah, y'all can follow me on everything at Reggie Comedy. You know what I'm saying? If you follow me on Twitter, it's Reggie Comedy. Follow me on Facebook, it's Reggie Comedy. Follow me to my car, it's still Reggie Comedy. You know what I'm saying? And I also have a comic book that I'm getting ready to launch next month, featuring children with special needs
that's dope.
that are in wheelchairs, and the wheelchairs transform into battle suits on their physical person. It's called Warriors on Wheels. And you helped me, one of my first works that I created. 7-8 years ago. So I'm really excited about that. That's the most excited thing I am about right now. Is just being able to represent special needs children that I work with.
And where will people be able to find that at?
You can find me on on all
I'm saying the comic book.
Oh, it's gonna be on our Facebook page and our Instagram page, NHCW.
Is the title locked?
What do you mean?
Is the title Warriors on Wheels, is that locked already?
Yeah, we already got it locked in. Yes, sir.
No, I was gonna pitch Wheel Warriors, but go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir.
It's shorter.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, because they're it's a whole thing, but yes, sir. So NHCWOW, and that's just the acronym for Knuckleheads Warriors on Wheels. You can follow us on everything.
Hey, Alexis.
Hey y'all, Alexis Miranda. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok at It's Alexis Miranda.
You got that radio voice.
I just want to put it out there. I do music, so
your music is good. I just for the first time ever seen one of your clips the other day, and I was like, that shit was fire.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, good shit.
That's where I started, so I appreciate you. So yeah, got music dropping, and be on the lookout for Black Alice. If you want to hear the rest of that Eddie Murphy story, go to my YouTube, link in bio on my Instagram. It's life-changing.
It ends with all the girls start busting it wide open.
And Eddie was sleeping in the back.
Right, Eddie was sleeping in the back. But he didn't do that with us though. Go for Kente.
At Contagious on everything. KenteGious on everything. If that's too hard for you to remember, put Kente Scott in Google search. I'm the only one pop up.
Yes, sir.
Good thing about a name like Kente is you can't get a day job, but you can definitely get your email. If there's a Kente Scott with a number behind it, it's because I forgot the password. I got the Laugh Factory coming up June 12th, doing Christmas show at the Miracle Theater on June 21st, and I got my show at Faithful Central, 7 years running. Every fourth Friday, the Comedy Cafe, we have all of my comedy friends come through, kill it, run right at the edge of clean. It ain't church comedy, it's clean comedy, because I'm a comic who's a Christian. I'm not a Christian comic. Look it up. You know the difference.
Praise God. Royale, what you got?
I'm at Royale Watkins on everything. I am in New York City at the Mixtape Comedy Show, Gotham Comedy Club, every third Sunday. And I am at the Comedy Chateau for now every third Tuesday with Earthquake and Friends, which I produce and co-host. But yeah, that's it. At Royale Watkins on IG and Facebook and all of that good stuff.
Hey man, it's your man Justin Hines. Make sure you subscribe, man. Share the clips, man. Y'all make sure y'all share them clips. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. And and this is most important. Mine is Justin Hires. And this is most important. If you've been offended by anything we said today, just remember one thing. Fuck your feelings.
Fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings.
We out.